Hi guys, today we're going to work with First Certificate of English, Reading and Use of English Test Part 3. Let us begin. So what you need to know about this test is that you have actually a text with 8 gaps, okay? Now, where you find a gap at the end of that line, okay, you're going to find one word, and that word, you need to use it. You need to use it to create, to form a new word to fill that gap. For example, in the text you're reading, you find this line with a gap, and at the end of the line you have happy. So what you need to do is to use that happy to create the word that fits here. That may be happiness, unhappiness, or even unhappy. So any of those options, you have to fill that gap. This exercise tests your knowledge about forming new words, and if you know the parts of a speech. We've already seen them, which are the noun, adjective, adverb, etc. Okay? Now the tips. The first and the most important. Read all the text carefully, because by reading it, you will know what kind of words you need. Some of them are going to be quite logical for you and you're going to write it, so just please mind your spelling. Some of them are not going to be that straightforward, so you need to stop and think, but you always need to read carefully so you can identify what word in specific you need. Now the first tip, or another tip that I can give, is a part of use the word that's at the end of the line to fill in the gap of that line. And I know it seems kind of obvious and logical, but I have had some of my students using this exercise as if it were a matching exercise, like, you know, moving just the words from one line to another just to match, because that's it. And it is not. Your answer is actually at the end of the line, of each one of the lines that have gaps. That's your answer. The only thing that you need to do is to form a new word out of that word given. So that's why you need to decide what kind of word you need, whether it's an adjective or an adverb or a verb or a noun, okay, or if it has to be negative, okay? You need to make the necessary changes to form the word that you need to fill the gap. Some of those changes obviously are about these parts of a speech, but some others might be about just making the word a plural. So you also need to be aware of that. And you will almost always, 99% of the times, the times that I have solved some of these exercises, you need to form a negative word, okay? Whether it's a negative adjective or a negative noun or a negative verb, okay? But you always need to do one, but almost always, just because of the exception that may occur. Another tip, you must always form a new word, okay? There's no chance and there's no option to say like, oh, well, I have here this gap and in my line, in my text, and happy sounds perfectly fine, so I'm just going to use happy. No, okay? If happy is at the end of the line, you need to change it. Always. You cannot use exactly the same word that has been given. You always need to change it. Whether it's unhappy, happiness, unhappiness, okay? You always need to change it. So this is just a reminder of some of the prefixes and suffixes that you may be using later on, okay? They're part of negative prefixes for mainly adjectives, but also nouns and verbs, such as dishonor, which is a noun, irrational, unintentional, incredible, immature. The part of the suffixes for nouns, people, you know, driver, employee, artist, shop assistant, instructor, or the suffixes for nouns, the other nouns, okay? Relation, enjoyment, happiness, sanity, appliance, convenience, relationship, and the suffixes for adjectives such as hopeful, shameless, adorable, envious, assertive, inquisitive, baggy, flexible. But remember that you also have for adverbs, and the ly for the adverb is not the only suffix for adverbs. The suffixes for, well, suffixes and prefixes to create verbs, and well, you have plenty others, not just these ones for nouns and the such, okay? We're going to see them little by little, but you need to start remembering these ones at least. Now an example. Here you're going to see 8 different sentences, but actually the test is one whole text, okay? It's just one whole little article. But to start just clarifying certain questions, we're going to keep or stick with the part of the sentences, okay? So here we have the first sentence. It says, our neighbors are friendly, so we have a good with them. A good what? A thing. Because I have the article a, I need a thing, okay? So what would be the thing for relation, okay? I need to think about a noun because nouns are things or people or animal, okay? So that's why the answer was relationship. And it sounds correct. Our neighbors are friendly, so we have a good relationship with them. Now, sentence number 2. We have most agree that sea levels will continue to rise in the coming years. To start with, I already have a verb, and so what I'm missing is the subject. And probably most agree, so I need probably a person here because that person is going to agree the rest of the sentence, okay? And then the given word at the end, as I told you, I don't need to match, is exactly in front of my gap, is science. So what word can I create or form using science? And you should have the answer already. And it's in plural, okay? Most scientists. Why do I know it's plural? Because I'm using most of them, okay? Most of the group of scientists, not just a scientist. Because if it were just one, I would have used a scientist, okay? Now, that's the thing that you actually need to do, okay? Please, on your notebook, you're going to write numbers 3 to 8, and you're going to write in front of those numbers the words that you form with noise, employ, hope, comfort, success, and lose to fit each one of these gaps. And we're going to see the answers in a while. In the meantime, remember that we're going to continue practicing. Bye!